I was speaking with someone, I was communicating with someone today, a very nice devotee who's turning up, turning up her devotion, turning up her bravery, turning up her
Who's that?
spirit of self-sacrifice.
Name
Um,
names.
I don't know if I'm going to name names,
Name
but
names.
I'm not gonna name names. But they're saying like, I'm ready to do this. Like they're walking away from their job,
Hmm.
and everybody at the job's like, I can't believe you're going. It's like, what's going on? And
You're toxic. That's what's going on.
that's
You're
right. You're toxic, and I'm getting out of here. But they said, they were saying that like I'm ready to do this, but like even I'm lying down and go to bed, and my heart's like pumping. It's
Mm.
like I'm nervous. And that's a great place to be. Like
Right. It's exciting,
yeah,
actually, because you know
yeah,
you're sacrificing for something greater. And there is like
yeah,
a feeling of I'm walking off the edge of a cliff. Is there going to be anybody to lift me? We're all
yeah.
going to take that step off the cliff. But the magic thing is Krishna's right there.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastubha Das. Welcome to the show. It is episode 1488. It's December 9th, 2024. We're doing the show tomorrow, Bear?
Yeah.
Doing the show tomorrow. Then I head off for Brazil for a big fat weekend. Looking forward to that.
But the show will go on.
The show will go on
Weekend
without me.
starting
Maybe I'll
on
check
Wednesday.
in. Maybe I'll check in.
Oh, check in on us. That would be
Because I
nice.
like to do these shows. I just can't. It's just unpredictable, because of my travel schedule. But I like to do it from far off places.
Okay.
Can I
Would
check
love to have
in?
you. Raghunath, you're always welcome here. Come on.
Really? All right. Good.
Really?
All right.
But Mara will be around, yeah, Mara?
Yeah, I'll
going
still
Oh,
be
Mayor's
around.
not going anywhere.
I think Wednesday I'll be able to do the show.
Even if
Linda.
Raghunath's not here, I always appreciate if Mara's still here. It makes
Thanks.
it
Keeps you
nicer, easier, nicer.
secure in
Yes,
this
yes,
insecure world.
exactly.
Oh, Kostuba. What's going on, Mayor? You got some announcements for us?
I do. It's Wear Your Merch Monday.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's us representing.
Yeah.
Wear your merch Monday. You wear it on Zoom, or you just wear it around. Then you take a photo of yourself. You take a click of it. You tag Wisdom of the Sages, and you post it. And that way, some people see it and be like, "What the heck is Wisdom of the Sages? I've been seeing it around." And guess
What
what?
is that?
People listen to the podcast because of it.
You know
On
what? I'll
Zoom.
tell you something, Raghunath.
What?
Practically, the whole podcast took off because you had a little merch phone cover.
You know what?
And
That-
Joe
it
Rogan
all
said,
started
"Oh,
there
what is this?
because
What is this?"
I went on Joe Rogan in March of 2020, and Kostuba gave me a final instruction. He looked me in the eye, held me by the hands. He said, Raghunath,
Raghunath,
make
focus.
sure you mention Wisdom of the Sages on Joe Rogan. And
And I
of
said,
course,
and do
as
it
he was
early.
looking in my eye, I glanced off into the air and looked at a bird that was
squirreling.
perched in a tree. And I wasn't listening to anything he said.
I said,
And
Raghunath, you got to mention the podcast, and you got to do it early. You got to, like, right out of the gate. you
right
mention
out of the gate, say,
podcast.
hey, I got a podcast going on. And I forgot to
Totally.
mention it. But Damodar Priya, one of our original Zoomers, she gave
you
me a
birthday gifts.
phone case,
Yeah.
what was it? A phone
iPhone
iPhone cover.
cover
That
case
it was
thing.
really
Yeah.
nice. It was a really nice present, actually. And I left it with my phone down on the Joe Rogan desk,
Table.
and he said, "Hey, what is that?" And I said, "Oh, it's my podcast." And he's like, "You got a podcast too? Everybody's got a podcast."
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I don't
If you
remember
would've-
exactly, and I'm a little embarrassed to go back and listen to it. But I think you got to understand, we had just started, and it was just a morning. This podcast started as a morning class, and so we had we had 120 people listening a day as our morning class with, just people, yoga students, some hardcore people, and 120 people.
I don't
for
think it even
morning
got up that
class.
high. I think it was about 80, 85 was the max.
No. When
until
we started, we had over 100 before it was the podcast, when it was just Super
No,
Soul
I know.
Sacred
I
Sunday.
don't. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I remember a little
But
different.
anyway, that being said, I bragged. I bragged to Joe Rogan. I was
That
like,
we
yeah,
got
we got like 120 people listening. Here's a guy who's got like 35 million. And I was it just shows how ridiculously arrogant the living entity is. I was bragging to him about all 130.
we're
people.
paupers. in
Oh
that
my
sense.
God.
a penny.
So dumb.
Anyway, Damodar Priya saved us there, because if you would have
Mhm.
gone on Joe Rogan and not mentioned the podcast, the whole history would have been different.
Yeah,
true.
so many people just say I got into it. Maybe Greg DeGasu, who just said he listened from April. I just said Greg
Yeah,
DeGasu right on the
Joe
board
Rogan,
when you
Joe
started
Rogan.
listening. He said April. So we started, that was in March. Yeah. Talk to Joe, we call him on this podcast.
So if you're looking for some merch and you don't have any
Okay, here
merch,
we go.
and you
Okay,
want
back to the
some,
announcement.
yeah, we have a 20% off sale on all our merch on our online store, and we have 2 new hoodie colors and a new tote as well.
Ooh,
So
Oh,
go to
tote.
wisdomofthesages.com and check it out.
We got to do
totes.
phone covers.
I know.
And
Maybe
We
that'll be
should,
next.
well, you know, the problem is they're all different size shaped phones. That's a
Yeah,
problem.
not that many.
it is.
No, there's a lot of phones out there.
No, there-
Also,
We should do
Okay.
winter beanies. That's what we should do.
we were gonna do it, but you got to go up to Albany and check out
Oh,
that
that's
patch.
right.
Yeah, that's you. You're the bottleneck on that one, Virgo.
Okay. Everybody wants a deep V hoodie or t-shirt. That's I get it.
TV.
A deep
There
V.
you go.
Okay. Let's continue on. It would be a deep V would be good with a big little Wisdom of Sages guy right on the
On the
boob. Yeah,
Right
right on the
on.
left boob or something. All right, let's get
All
into
right.
this, guys.
Yeah. We got a nugget. You want to get into the nugget?
Yeah. Remember, episode 1500 is around the corner. Write us to tell us how the
Oh, yeah.
Bhagavatam has changed your life. And we're going to unmute you on Zoom and we can tell this. You can tell your story. It's going to be like an open mic discussion. So if you haven't written Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, please do it today. It's nice to hear people. It's very heartfelt. Say, hey, you know, I was in this phase of my life. Then I started listening to the podcast and this is how it changed me. This is how my life improved. Please only send ones where your life has improved. Okay. Don't share how
We may not read the other ones.
Yeah. Okay. We have a nugget, a little takeaway today.
Yeah.
A little nugget.
Are you
And this
familiar
is
with this person?
Morihei Ueshiba.
Yeah,
not.
Morihei Ueshiba, I think is how you pronounce it. Do you know who that is?
Japanese. A Japanese martial artist.
Japanese martial artist. He's the founder of Aikido.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what he says: loyalty and devotion lead to bravery.
Okay.
Bravery leads to the spirit of self-sacrifice.
Very important.
Sort of what that is. Bravery sort of is that, right? The spirit of
Well-
self-sacrifice creates trust in the power of love.
Power of love.
The spirit
love
of
is
self-sacrifice.
inherent
Let
in
me read that
everything.
again. Here's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Loyalty and devote. Can you look up Aikido in Wikipedia, please? I want to see when this whole thing started.
He lived at the end of 1883. He was born.
Okay,
I
but
think
where
he
did
died in
where did he get it from, though?
1969.
It's not like you just create these things. You like take a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Well, it was originally developed by him as a synthesis of his martial studies, philosophy, and religious beliefs.
Exactly what you said, really.
His goal was to create an art which practitioners could use to defend themselves while also protecting their attackers from injury.
Well,
Protecting the attackers?
Yeah, that's what it
protecting the
says.
attacker.
Why do you want to protect the attackers?
He doesn't
Those
want
are the
to.
guys you want to hurt.
No, he doesn't want to hurt them long term. He just wants to defend himself.
Okay.
Yeah. He was trying to practice of Aikido is to overcome oneself instead of cultivating violence or aggressiveness.
Interesting.
Mm.
And then there's a
Interesting.
photo of him flipping somebody on his head. Like, okay.
All right, you're gonna read it. again?
Loyalty and devotion lead to bravery. Bravery leads to the spirit of self-sacrifice.
Yep.
The spirit of self-sacrifice creates trust in the power of love.
Of love.
Stupid, please comment, please.
Well, exactly what he meant, but I think I can relate to this. Loyalty and devotion leads to bravery. When our devotion goes deeper, our loyalties and our devotion are scattered all over the place. We're interested in this person, we're worshiping that person, this musician, that athlete, this life
boy band,
guru for self-improvement, person that we work with, that we adore, this, that, like this television show, that celebrity,
right?
But when our loyalty and devotion becomes fixed and exclusive, it gives us the bravery to begin to break our habits, to break our patterns, to step out of the mundane patterns that we're stuck in, And when that bravery becomes real strong, it leads that you want to give yourself entirely, like not just like, this is my religious faith or something like that, but like I live for this. I remember you and I have discussed in the past, like the idea of going and chanting, kirtan in the streets,
Yeah.
And like, if it's your first time or something like that, you're worried, who's going to see me? If I run into someone I know, this is going to be like completely disastrous.
It's happened to me before,
Yeah.
running into people I know in the streets. It's like, oh,
Yeah. And who was it that was telling us that the family of the in-laws showed up?
AJ Sullivan.
AJ Sullivan was
that's right.
at the
That was
beach
incredible.
with his family, and the devotees came up to him chanting on the beach, and they all like knew him.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah.
So, but then you reach this point in life where it's like, it doesn't matter who comes out here. There's not one person in the world that's going to make me feel ashamed or embarrassed or anything. This is who I am.
Yeah.
That's
a big step.
Yeah. Then it's kind of like a freedom, and so when you get that bravery, and then you get to that point where you're like, I live for this. This is my focus. I've learned to kind of like take a sieve with put my life through a filter, and it's filtering down to what's most essential, and that's where I begin to see, everything connected to God, and I'm losing interest in things that aren't moving me in that direction, aren't pulling me in that direction, pushing me in that direction, attracting me in that direction.
Ave Maria says, coming out of the bhakti closet. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
coming out
some of us are
bhakti
doing this season.
Yeah.
To your
Yeah.
family, I'm coming out.
And-
I've got
and-
something I want to announce.
I need to talk to you. And that spirit
ever
of self-sacrifice, when you really start to give of yourself, like the way that you and I were trained was like, okay, give everything now. Everything, right? Like all your time, anything you own, your dignity, your like, you give it all up, go out on the street and beg for Krishna, go, to stand on the stage and tell everybody, I saw that photo. That photo was great of you backstage that you posted the other day.
Oh, you like that?
I did like it. Well, I just thought it was a great mood, but there's, if you look at the way you were dressed,
I had a dhoti on. Everybody's backstage, and I had a dhoti on backstage.
you're about to go on stage. You had a dhoti on that was like kind of like half jacked up to your knees.
Yeah, it was my style. Jacked
You
it
had
up
a
little bit.
baggy long sleeve T-shirt on, I think.
Or a hoodie or something. Yeah.
You had a price like a pair of Vans with socks that were like sagging down.
Yeah.
Like no
Saggy
elasticity
tube sock
left in them.
Vans. Yeah, that was a look.
And you had like a big Sika coming out the
I
back.
had
of
a
your
long
head.
Sika, boy. But
And I looked at it and I said, "Don't, Raghunath, I'm saying this as a compliment, but if I had thought something like, man, the girls must have been going crazy on that tour, right?" But my point is,
that was a real heartthrob.
it was like that was not what you were about. You were about, hey, this is who I am now, and
Yeah. Take me or leave me.
take me or leave me.
No, there's a
that was
famous-
brave. That was self-sacrifice.
Well, there's a famous story. I think, I don't know if Prabhupada told it or not, but
Oh yeah, I know that one.
I've
The
heard
Charlie Chaplin
it's
one.
such a, yeah, it's the one of Charlie Chaplin. He's at a party, and everyone's wearing, like one of the when everyone wear
long coat with the
tails.
tails, they call it.
With
Yeah, the tails.
it was tails, like a tuxedo with tails.
Yeah.
And he went to the bathroom and his tail got caught in the door and it ripped a little. And he was like completely like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So he took
said,
it
I know
off
what I'll do.
and he tore it really bad, like so it
All
went
the way
all
up
the way
to,
up
like,
to his neck.
The collar.
And
Yeah.
then instead of just like hiding, oh, I ripped my tux, he got on the dance floor and started dancing super crazy. And everyone was watching like, wow, who's this guy
That's
with the
what it's all
ripped
about.
tails?
Yeah.
And so everybody snuck in the bathroom, ripped their tuxedo up to the neck.
Started dancing the same way.
It's one of these things when you're really convicted of something, don't hide it. Express it boldly. And people will actually follow you. And there's that verse in the Gita, yad yad acharati shreshtas, right? As great men do, common men follow. And so when you have something that you can really rally behind that's rooted in integrity, then shout it loud, huh?
Shout it out loud. There's the picture of you is on the chat board now. There it is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, that was a look.
There you go. That's what our sensei was talking about here. You know, like self-sacrifice. I'm giving my career. I'm giving my reputation. I'm giving my time.
I'm giving my
I
fashion.
might get beat up, but I'm going to do this. You know, I was speaking with someone. I was communicating with someone today. A very nice devotee who's turning up her devotion, turning up her bravery, turning up her
Who's
spirit
that?
of self-sacrifice.
Name names.
I don't know if I'm going to name names.
Name
but,
names.
I'm not going to name names. But they're saying like, I'm ready to do this. Like they're walking away from their job, and everybody at the job's like, I can't believe you're going. It's like, what's going on? And
You're toxic. That's what's going on.
That's right. You're toxic, and I'm getting out of here. but they said, they were saying that like I'm ready to do this, but like even I'm lying down to go to bed, and my heart's like pumping. It's like I'm nervous. And that's a great place to be. Like
right. It's exciting, actually, because you're sacrificing for something greater, and there is like a feeling of I'm walking off the edge of a cliff. Is there going to be anybody to lift me? Yeah. We're all going to take that step off the cliff. But the magic thing is Krishna's right there. Krishna's right there. And he's
and this is how you realize it, right? That he's with you all. This is what I said. Exactly what you said is more or less what I said, Ron. I said this. I said, let Krishna in your heart carry you through the anxiety. This is how one's faith grows deeper, by passing through uncomfortable passages in life while trusting him.
Yeah.
And I said this, I said, every devotee of Krishna will have to learn to trust him by holding on to him through these uncomfortable passages in life. Death will be the last one, right? The last uncomfortable passage. But by that time, your trust will be so deep that you'll pass through it fearlessly. And I said, there's one great thing that one great way that your life is about to change is that with this one move, from now on, your life is going to have far less inconsequential characters in it, using up all of your time and energy in unimportant conversations about unimportant things. And when you realize this is going to be like a heavy burden released from your shoulders. And that whatever fear you're experiencing, just witness that from a distance.
Isn't that interesting that we're all going through this? We're all
everybody's in
through
anxiety
this.
of something, right? Yeah.
And it's going to keep happening until all the things that we were investing in, which we knew weren't substantial anyway, are going to be broken away. And there's just going to be us and Krishna.
Yep.
We're actually
and
talking
then I
about
said, this
yesterday in Sweet Baby Krishna last night.
You said on Sweet Baby Krishna?
Yeah.
That's the way it is. I said, just try to, whatever fear or anxiety you're experiencing, just try to witness it from a distance. Like it's not me, it's just passing over me. And in your mind and heart, never allow anyone to make you feel like you're foolish for walking away. And Krishna knows that you're doing it for him, and that's all that matters. And I think when in this nugget today, when he says the spirit of self-sacrifice creates trust in the power of love, that's Krishna's love, right? In other words, it's one thing for my own loyalty or devotion to go to him, but then when you feel his love, then now you're now you've entered the real realm of spirituality. Now it's not just theory anymore. Now you're really living it and you're really feeling it.
Mm.
So, we all have these little battles to pass through in life one way or another. But we got to be brave, right?
Ooh, it's just Krishna is just like chipping away at our ego. When I was little, I think I used this analogy before. When I was a little, they had this game called Chip Away, and it
Chip
was
away.
for little
A little ice
kids.
thing, a little
No, what? No,
igloo thing or something.
that was something else. I think maybe that was Chip
Okay.
Away. No, that was Don't Break the Ice. That was
Okay.
Don't Break the Ice. Chip Away was when they put like a statue, like a little plastic statue of, say, Mickey Mouse or Fred Flintstone in a piece of plaster. And so they let the
Okay.
little kid feel like they were actually
Oh,
creating
never
a
saw that.
masterpiece, chipping it away. They give you a little chisel and a little hammer, and you chip away. And you're like, look what I've created with all my, fine carving and chiseling.
Right.
And underneath it is so Krishna is doing that to us. We are just a big blob of ego, a big
Yeah.
ego blob walking down the street, puffing our chest, trying to impress people. We're so unimpressive with our ego. There's always someone looking at your ego going, who do you think you are?
A clown.
Right? Who are you, clown? Trying to clown. Yeah. And so what we say in Bhakti is like, I'm not gonna lead with the ego anymore. I'm gonna lead with myself. I'm a pure spirit soul. I'm gonna lead with that. And you're gonna say, Krishna, you chip away at this ego, please.
That's the thing. You got to ask him, right? Yeah.
He's gonna start chipping away. And underneath it is something exponentially more beautiful than your ego.
Nice. Nice. I like that, Raghunath. I like that one. Thank you.
Oh, we had a nice interview at the Auto Bar yesterday.
Yeah.
Guy's got no ego. He's got no material ego. He's just a soul. And he's an artist, and it's not like he's given himself to God and he loses his identity. No, he's a filmmaker. He's an artist. He's incredible. But he's got no material ego, and that's attractive. I'm so impressed by people like him. Anyway, check out that show yesterday. What was the title of the podcast?
Filmmaking for God.
Filmmaking for God.
Filmmaking for God.
Behind the scenes with God.
We're making a film right now.
Okay. Let's get into this book we study, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Before he said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest. One should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
All
Reading
right,
from the
Raghunath,
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hold it. I got permission to give the name.
What name?
The name of the person I was talking about.
Oh.
You wanted me to name names. It's Chapuji.
Oh, Chapu.
Yeah.
Chapu.
So she said if this is a way to get some more blessings, so everyone please
Give her blessings to walk away from her material existence.
Yeah, a few prayers for her to having the bravery as she moves into a new phase of her life, of her service. Moves back home, back to Caracas, Venezuela. But giving her life,
Krishna's got a plan for Chapu. Krishna's got a plan for everybody.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you have to walk away from your job or anything like that, but she's doing something very bold.
Sometimes you got to walk away, and sometimes you just got to see what is Krishna. Sometimes it just starts with a prayer. Krishna, what would you like from me? I've been leading with my ego. Now I want to lead with myself in my real identity as a spirit soul. Please direct me. It starts with that.
Yeah.
And Krishna will direct. And then we just got to step up.
All Okay.
Alrighty, here we go. Text 39. In the
Okay.
beginning, the devotee should chant the.
Oh, maybe we need a little
Wait a
context
second,
here.
did we do
Maybe
this
a little
right?
recap, huh?
Go ahead.
All right. So this is Kasyapa Muni speaking to his wife Aditi, who was so troubled because her sons had been run off, right? Run off by the demons. They took over. You know, they took their position in the world, and they were suffering. They were hiding. She couldn't see her own sons, and so she turned to him like a disciple turns to guru. Please help me figure out what I can do. And he said, I can give you. He says, your intentions aren't entirely selfless here, but that's okay. Still approach Vishnu. Still approach Krishna. Because that's always auspicious, right? It's always auspicious to approach the Lord. And then he's going to lay out like a ritual for her to follow that will may sound a little strange to us, but if you really understand, these rituals were like finely tuned, designed by sages. They knew how to adjust the algorithms in the mind. It was a way of bringing her mind and her heart to Lord Vishnu, and then in that state of mind, offering her prayer. And so now he's kind of going through that process of, he said, I was taught this ritual by Lord Brahma, and now I'm going to offer to you, I'm going to explain it to you so that you can do it. And it's going to work for her. Big time. All right.
Okay, so this is text 39. In the beginning, the devotee should chant the Bada Shakshara mantra and offer flower garlands, incense, and so on. After worshiping the Lord in this way, one should bathe the Lord in milk and dress him with garments. Didn't we read this?
We did.
And
We're going to
sacred
do
thread
this
and
one because
ornaments.
this is where it
Okay.
starts. This is the beginning of the description.
After offering water to wash the Lord's feet, one should again worship the Lord with fragrant flowers, incense, and other paraphernalia.
Okay.
If one can afford to, one should offer the deity fine rice, boiled in milk with clarified butter and molasses. Tasty.
Oh, yummy.
While chanting the original mantra, one should offer all of this to the fire. One should offer all the prasad to a Vaishnav, or offer him some of the prasad and then take some oneself. After this, one should offer the deity Akshman and then betel nut, and then again worship the Lord. Thereafter, one should silently murmur the mantra 108 times and offer prayers to the Lord for his glorification. Then one should circumambulate the Lord and finally, with great delight and satisfaction, offer obeisances, falling straight like a rod. After touching to one's head all the flowers and water offered to the deity, one should throw them into the sacred place. Then one should feed at least 2 brahmanas with sweet rice.
Okay, so we're getting we're getting something outlined which has a lot to do with taking a form of the Lord and making offerings from the heart in the very same kind of mood as if a guest who you totally loved and respected, visited your home after a long absence. It's hospitality, really. It's offering of hospitality. It's offering of service, and the idea that there's beauty in it. It makes you feel good, and it kind of begins to turn. If you do this regularly, it starts to turn your mind away from self-absorption. And by self-absorption, I mean like selfishness. What do I need? Why isn't everybody serving me? And it begins to shift the mind to finding beauty and satisfaction in loving service. And a lot of it has to do with, and we saw this, I think, a chapter or two earlier, right? A lot of it has to do with offering food to God with devotion, cooked and prepared with devotion, and then taking that empowered food, taking that food that's surcharged now with spiritual energy, and offering that as a gift to others. And he's going to go through, like, here he said at least 2 brahmanas, right? Like 2 very refined, kind, deeply spiritual people. You go and you find them and you feed them well with that sweet rice. They say, remember that time that Radha Swami was telling us about sweet rice? About how he used to take it at the one of those temples. Which temple was it? It was a temple down in, you remember that? We were at the Bhakti Center.
Can't
You
remember.
are you awake?
I can't remember.
Okay. Are you awake right now?
I just can't remember everything.
He was telling us that they would serve this sweet rice at this temple, and they would call it paramana. That's what all the
Paramana.
sadhus call sweet rice. Paramana means like
The
the
supreme
highest,
food, the highest food.
the highest food. Yeah, and it's really it really is a conduit for affection. You know, you cook that down, sweeten it, you offer it to someone. But as this goes on, he's gonna be saying, you feed everyone. You feed, you know, the highest, the lowest, the animal, everybody you feed. We'll see that as it continues.
Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion, and living only by drinking milk. One should perfectly honor the respectable Brahmins one is fed, and then, after taking the permission, one should take prasad with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy, and that next morning, after bathing again, with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and worship him according to the methods formerly stated in detail.
Okay, so, and you
Worshipping
know, yeah, I was gonna say not only the details of what's meant to be done here, but the mood is described here as well, right? Like when it said that you should bow down like a rod, it says with
Yeah.
great delight and satisfaction. You know, you should
Not-
offer obeisances by falling down
Right.
like a rod. And here, what was it saying? After bathing again, with purity and attention, right? There's kind of clear focus here, you know, and you know, kind of a purity of heart and purity of attention. Okay.
Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the brahmanas, as mentioned before. In this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe the payovrata, worshiping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the Brahmins.
12-day, this is like, they could market this, right? 12-day, be a new person or something like that. Right?
Yeah, or one of those like Instagram challenges. 12 days,
right.
payovrata.
Payovrata. I'm doing it. Tag someone.
2 out of 12. Day two.
Day 2. I'm tired of milk.
I'm
But I'm pushing through.
I'm getting a lot of mucus. Okay. From Pratipat until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Shukla Trayodasi, one should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow.
It's getting a little tougher with each description. Oh, I got to sleep on the floor too.
Okay, all right. During this period, one should not unnecessarily talk. I was like, okay, I'm out. Of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva.
Nice.
Thereafter, following the
This is
direction.
it, Raghunath. I'll tell you something. This is not so dissimilar the way that you talk to people like before a retreat or something like that, right? He's preparing their consciousness to get the most out of it.
It's preparing the mind, really. Yeah.
Like what are the things that you say?
No criticism.
No criticism.
Right. We can criticize each other. Doesn't mean you don't discern. I mean, you just don't relish in taking another person down, you know. And then there is tolerance. We're not complaining about our situation. We're not taking offense. You know, sometimes we get offended with, people. Mara, what are you doing? Why are you out of the camera right now? Like, we're just getting offended. People aren't doing anything. We're getting offended all the time. We're quick to apologize. We see the good in others. We let them know it. And we're grateful and keep a tally of our blessings.
Things like that.
Magic happens when you follow that contract.
That's exactly. So he's saying if you can do it in this mood, magic will happen,
Magic happens. When you worship Vishnu and you follow those principles, magic happens. Thereafter, following the directions of the Shastra, with the help of the Brahmins, who know the Shastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances.
Mara.
Milk, ghee, sugar, and honey. What's that called, Mara?
Panchamrita or Panchagavya?
Panchamrita.
Panchamrita.
Should have said it boldly the first time. Panchamrita.
I knew it was one of those
Panchagavya comes from the cow.
milk, yogurt, ghee.
Urine.
Right.
All the stuff from
Dung.
the cow.
Okay.
Dung.
Curd.
Curd?
Okay. Well, yogurt.
Okay. So that's a good trivia question. Difference between Panchamrita and Panchagavya.
Mhm.
All right, giving
That'll
up
be on the next quiz.
giving up the miserly habit of not spending money.
Oh, that's quite a statement there too. You know, like, hey, everybody, you know.
Yeah, you know you people who are like saving money? No. Give that up. One should arrange a gorgeous worship for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains boiled in ghee and milk and must chant the Purusha Shukta mantra.
Oh,
The
yeah.
offerings of food should be varieties of tastes. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
I wonder if you chant the mantra while you're boiling, while you're boiling that, you know, chant the Purusha Shukta mantra.
One should satisfy the spiritual master, the Acharya, who is very learned in Vedic literature, and one should satisfy his assistant priests, known as Hutta, Udgata, Avaryu, and Brahma. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is the ceremony called Vishnu Aradhanam, or the worship of Lord Vishnu.
It's getting harder.
Yeah. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas and should satisfy them and their priests. By distributing prasad, one should also satisfy the Brahmins and others who have assembled. One should satisfy the spiritual master and assistant priests by giving them cloth, ornaments, cows, and also some monetary contribution. And by distributing prasad, one should satisfy everyone assembled, including even the lowest of men, the Chandals. Those are the
those
ones
that-
who eat dogs.
They eat dogs.
If
Yeah.
there is a class system, the ones who eat dogs are probably at the bottom.
Yeah. So, but they could feed
Never-
them too. Feed them
Never
too, right?
take them to the Humane Society, by the way.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. But the idea is here. I want he's saying to her, you please everyone, right? From the acharya down to the dog eater. You know, you're the servant of everyone. There's no, you're not. You don't think
You're not above
you,
anybody.
You're not above anybody. Yeah.
One should distribute Vishnu Prasad to everyone, including the poor man, the blind man, the non-devotee, and the non-Brahmin. Knowing that Lord Vishnu is very pleased when everyone is sumptuously fed Vishnu Prasad, the performer of yajna should then take prasad with his friends and relatives. There's a beautiful thing about distributing prasad, which is
Culture of it. Yeah.
popular in our bhakti culture, is the food is cooked with love and offered to Lord Vishnu, and therefore it's infused with that love, and it becomes non-different than Vishnu because Vishnu is absolute. Therefore, it's like consuming and associating with Lord Vishnu, and it affects the consciousness in a very deep way, eating Krishna prasad. And so therefore, the devotees of Lord Krishna, they distribute prasad everywhere. It's not just like we like to distribute prasad to the poor. Everybody's poor. Everybody's poor in bhakti. And so whether they're poor or they're rich or anybody can come up and take prasad. And it's important that the cooks who are cooking the prasad have a very focused consciousness that this is a loving offering towards Vishnu, because then everyone gets the effect. It's just like if you're leading a kirtan, you have to do it with such intense devotion to the Lord. It'll have so much more of an effect on those who are hearing it.
Very good, Raghunath. Very good. And I always love your stories of, and we would do it together, but of serving out prasad back in the day, and you know,
Yeah.
in that mood where it's just like we're focused on pleasing everyone. You know,
It's
focused
in
on
my
just.
book. You
I
gotta read
had
it.
oh man,
Did you
I had
read
a
my
meet-
book yet? I gave you the audio book. You have no excuse.
I've got the audio book. Okay,
Yeah, I know.
the
That was
audio
like 3
book.
weeks ago.
Well, as
I
soon
know
as
you
I
got it.
Not 3 weeks ago. It was like 3 days ago. Okay, now
3
just slow
days
down.
ago. It was last week. You got the
Okay.
audio book. Here's the deal. You're in Mayapur. You have to walk places. Put your headphones on. Listen to the book.
Okay. Okay, right. I'm definitely listening now. Don't worry. You don't worry.
Since
I'm gonna
when?
be doing
Like
some
this
serious
right
listening. By the
now?
time,
Since right now that I've said this,
no. But now that I've got it, I'm gonna listen
you've
to
had it.
it. I've just got it. I'm gonna.
Someone
listen to,
chime
like-
in on the message board, please.
I'm definitely gonna listen to it when I travel. You know, like when I'm going before I get to
Travel.
Yeah, before I get
It's like a month from
why are you
now.
being so demanding? It's not a month from now. It's like
The
a
book
couple
came
weeks
out
from
in
now.
April.
You stretch it one way, you condense the time the other way, whatever makes things seem worse for me.
Double it. All right.
But hey, I had a great experience yesterday, Raghunath.
I'm going to have another book out by the time you read this book. Okay,
No, no,
go.
no. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I had a beautiful prasadam experience yesterday. I was kindly invited by devotees I didn't even know
Hmm.
to go to the Jagannath Mandir for prasad.
Well, that's nice.
The Jagannath Mandir is like they make excellent prasadam, right? It's the whole
It's Chapan Bog. So
Japan
many
Bhog.
different offerings, and there's a very ancient, beautiful temple there in Mayapur.
So the devotee was so kind. He invited a group of us, and
Who
then
was
not
it?
only that, he rented like a car, not rented a car, but like he hired a car, like a Jeep kind of thing,
Okay.
and just like said, "Here's your ride," and drove us there. And
Nice.
then we sat down in a beautiful, clean place, and then different devotees just stood up um, to serve it. Humble devotees.
Hmm.
That just were like you could see they had that focus. Let me serve this out in such a way to please everyone. I'm back again. Is there something else that you want? Oh, let me give you some more of this. Can I give you some more of that? it it was all so delicious. It was incredible. So those the creativity in the vegetable dishes and the sweets and everything.
It's interesting because when you're eating prasad and people are serving you and bringing you second plates and first plates and second plates and can I get you some more rice? And you're really sort of sitting there enjoying it, you start to realize like, oh, I get it. I'm supposed to be doing what you're doing right now. The real goal here is actually in the offering, in the love, in the serving out, and you guys have like figured it
Accepting
out.
is also part of it. Accepting prasad is one of the loving exchanges, but it's a fact. Serving it is a special. You're taken to
Yeah.
the next level.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. All right.
Oh, and you know what else I did, Raghunath? Because at that
Mhm.
temple, there's that temple of Simantini Devi. It's Durga in Navadvip.
Yeah.
That temple is powerful, Raghunath. That deity is powerful. Actually, let me share this picture, okay? I want to
Okay.
share this, but it's such a beautiful pastime of. It's interesting. It's similar to what we are talking about before, but it's like Durga. We understand like Durga as she's kind of like a bit like the prison guard in the prison.
Sure.
She's riding on a like a tiger, right? Tiger is a lion? I think tiger.
Both different forms of the Davy ride on different
Gotcha.
different
Different forms
animals.
of the Davy.
What can
We
I
got
help you?
Joseph Campbell over here. What's his name? Different forms of the Davy.
Of the mother.
Of Ma. Um, but her job is on behalf of Krishna to kind of like she's got that trident. It's got the three modes, the threefold miseries. Are kind of like there in that trident, and she's kind of makes us suffer for our own good. It's like the intention is
Sure.
good.
Sure.
But she ends up with her husband, Lord Shiva, in Navadvip, and she sees him dancing in an ecstasy like she's never seen before.
Hmm.
And she's like, "What is it that's gotten into you? I've never seen you dance like this." And he begins to describe the glories and the mercy of Sri Chaitanya, which he's received.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then she says, she begins to understand something about Sri Mayapur and how this is the place of the greatest mercy. She says, "I'm going to sit down right here and begin to meditate on Lord Gauranga, on Lord Chaitanya."
Hmm.
And for days, she's chanting and crying. And then Sri Chaitanya appears before her. And he says, "What's the matter? Why are you crying?" And she says, "Look at my job. Like everybody says that Maya, like, can't exist where Krishna is. So how can I ever be with you? How can I ever get your mercy? I'm the one person that can't get any mercy.
Hmm.
I, and and uh, and sh then she bows down and she puts the dust of his feet right on the parting of her hair, which is called the simanta. And in this way, she got the name Simantini Devi. And then she was blessed by Mahaprabhu that you stay here. And, he said, ultimately, you're Radha, right? I have like, I have ultimately everything is my energy, and it divides in two, and there's Radha. And he says, and you are present as Radha in Vrindavan, and you're present as Durga in the material realm, and you're present in the different in my Leela as Yoga Maya, and in Vrindavan as Purnamasi, and here you can be Simanti Devi, and you can give mercy to all the living beings. And her prayer was that prasadam be distributed to every living entity without any consideration, to all levels of people, to all the animals, to the dogs, to everyone. That was like her prayer to Mahaprabhu. And the fact that, like in the Jagannath temple, that prasad is distributed so profusely is like part of, her desire. But it's a beautiful desire. And I think she could become the patron saint of the Philadelphia devotees here. Like
Right.
Yvette and Dan and the others that go out in Philadelphia, and they go out to the like drug addicted neighborhoods and they just serve prasad. Like Simanti Devi could really be your
Worshipable
saint.
deity.
Yeah, but you see the picture that I put up there, Raghunath?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
There's something in her form and in her face that is like tears are welling up in her eyes, and she's so bliss to have, in a sense, she gave up the job that she didn't want so that she could just directly serve Krishna by spreading his mercy. And she's so satisfied, so grateful. I love that temple. Beautiful deity of Lord Chaitanya in there too.
Thank you for sharing.
All
that.
right. Just want to share.
All right. Miss Mara.
Oh, we're out of time. Is that it?
Okay, you ready for some takeaways?
Take
All
me away, Miss Mara. Take me away.
When our devotion deepens, it gives us bravery to overcome mundane habits.
Nice.
With bravery comes losing interest in that not connected to God.
Very
Too
good.
clunky.
Right, I get so judgmental over here.
No, I'm just saying takeaways are supposed to be like easy to remember. It's okay. You
But
gotta work on that,
we'll
Mara.
take them.
Work on that.
Sure. Thank you. Find what you have full conviction in and express it boldly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm nicer off camera. You should, right, Mara?
Yeah,
I'm very
you
nice
are.
in the course of the day, aren't I?
It's true.
On
you
camera, I'm a
are.
little bristly.
You can get a
It's
little,
true.
you can get a little cranky, but it's okay.
Let Krishna carry you through the anxiety.
Let him take you right through it. Hold on to his hand.
Yeah.
Krishna is chipping away at our big ego blob.
Our big ego blob. Yeah. Krishna is the sculptor. He's going to sculpt us.
Krishna will direct us. We've just got to step up.
Step it up.
Find beauty and satisfaction in loving service.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody is poor and in need of prasad.
That's right.
It was supposed to be, and. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thinking about last-minute holiday gifts? Hey, Punk to Monk is the new book out. Everybody's gabbing about. They want
Not in Vrindavan.
trying to explain people to your spiritual. You're trying to explain your spiritual journey to people. Don't do it. They'll never get it. But you can say, "Hey, listen to this podcast. Here's the guy's book. I think you'll like it. Give it to your mother, your brother, your sister, somebody who's on the edge. You think it'll appreciate it. Get it wherever you get books or Amazon. And yeah. And if you do have the book, yeah, get one for a friend. If you haven't written a review, go to Amazon, write a review. It helps me. And I read them all too. Helps the algorithm, Mara. Helps the algorithm. And some of you are saying, well, I didn't get it on Amazon. I listened to it on Audible. Then write a review on Audible.
Okay.
There's so much you can do. I'm just avoiding responsibility now.
What about that book Vrindavan, though?
Vrindavan. I'm going to put a post about Vrindavan. Did Sega... Sega's book is also a great gift. Sega, did you put a picture of it on the board earlier?
No, but he put his Instagram link.
Okay,
and
he
the
put a
link.
link on it, but you should put a picture of it too on the board so people can take that picture and then put a link on the picture and put it on their stories. And they can be wearing a Wisdom of Sages shirt and they could triple it. They could triple all the things that we're supposed to put the link on, put the picture of his book on, and they could put wear a Wisdom of Sages and they could tag us. And then they could just get my book. And they'd triple it. Triple the service. Hey, No Dance Chances here today. Good to see you.